Hello everyone and welcome again to my channel UPSC Mock Test. My name is Hardeep. So guys, today we'll be continuing with where we left off in our last video around science and technology. So let's quickly start with it. So it's about the China's human metapneumovirus, which is a respiratory virus to watch. This was back there in January this year, but let's just quickly have a look at it. So it's a lesser known but increasingly relevant respiratory pathogen, which is not from the family of COVID-19. So in mid-2024, China began witnessing a significant surge in the respiratory infections, particularly among children. While initial concerns revolved around the influenza and the COVID-19, health officials highlighted another key player, which was human metapneumovirus, which is HMPV. This was first discovered by Dutch in 2001, which is 2001. It's a paramyxovirus, which is not a COVID-19 family virus, which is related to the respiratory syncytial virus RSV. Again, the technical terms. It primarily causes upper and lower respiratory tract infections, and no specific antiviral treatment or vaccine is there yet. So the points to note: it is not from the COVID-19 family, and there is currently no treatment. Discovered by Dutch in 2001. Okay, so let's have a look at its questions. By the way, this is a pictorial representation of how this virus works and virus looks like. Now, also some of the symptoms are, of course, cough, fever, nasal congestion, wheezing, pneumonia. So you can read through this. PCR test can basically diagnose it. Now, let's have a look at this question. Which of the following statements about the human metapneumovirus are correct? It belongs to the coronavirus family. It causes symptoms similar to influenza and RSV. There is currently no vaccine available for HMPV. So please go through it and answer it in the comment section. So the correct answer is only two are correct. There is absolutely no vaccine at the moment, but it does not belong to the coronavirus family. The rest two are correct. Okay, so next is ISRO's path-breaking leap in the space agriculture. So what they've done is they've just tried to produce chickpea in space. That is the entire news. That is what the entire news is about. So India's first ever plant biology experiment in space through its compact research module for orbital plant studies, which is CROPS, aboard the PSLV-60 mission. Now, this achievement was made possible using the POEM-4 platform, which is the PSLV orbital experimental module. Now, let me just give you a quick background around it. होता क्या है कि whenever a PSLV is launched, PSLV is basically divided into 4 different stages. First, second, third, and fourth. After every stage is done, that particular, so let's say that this entirely is this is the rocket with certain fuel injectors. So every part keeps on getting detached. Let's say this is the first part which will get detached after the first stage is over. Then the second part will get detached when the second stage is over. So on for the third stage as well. But in the fourth stage, this is basically a reused vehicle. So whatever is there in the fourth part, that became a laboratory for this particular experiment. Now, let's have a deep dive into it. By the way, this is the space farming what it talks about. This was launched December 2024, PSLV-60. Study plant growth in microgravity conditions. Cowpea, which is lobia. So not chickpea, but cowpea, which is again from the same family, lobia. Not that chana or the Kabuli chana, whatever we call it. And the platform was POEM-4, which is PSLV's 4-stage use as in-orbit lab. Miniatured cameras and sensors tracking germination and shoot root development. So let's have a look at what exactly POEM is. It's the orbital experimental module. It's an extended concept by ISRO. It uses the PSLV Stage 4 as an in-orbit experimental platform. It carries scientific payloads, student experiments, or tech demos. Now, layman analogy, think of PSLV as a delivery rocket कि एक delivery rocket है जिसके अंदर कुछ deliver हो रहा है. After dropping off the main package, which is the satellite, instead of throwing away the last box, ISRO converts it into a floating science lab. That's called poem. Okay, I hope that you will be able to remember and more relate to it rather than just uh, like rectifying it. It's better for you to understand the concept of it. Now, first time poem was used in PSLV C-53 mission, which was in June 2022, and has since been used in many missions starting on PSLV C-53, 55, 60 now. What are the different four stages, by the way? First stage is the solid stage. So it is a solid liquid stage that PSLV follows, unlike the GSLV. I would want you guys to comment at what exactly does GSLV follow. Now it's the lift off. उसके बाद there is a mid push, there is a higher boost, and this is the final orbital insertion. तो जब orbit के अंदर वो चला ही गया, तो then it becomes kind of non-influenced by gravity. तो वो जो एक box है, which is the fourth stage, it will now keep on orbiting in this orbit, or because it is in the microgravity stage, इसके अंदर experiments are getting taken place. Okay, and this is poem 4 because it's the fourth stage. Okay, so let's have a look at the question. With reference to ISRO's CROPS experiment, consider the following statements. The experiment used tomato seeds as the test sample due to their adaptability. Poem 4, the experimental module was derived from the PSLV's repurposed third stage. The CROPS module studied seed germination in microgravity using imaging tools. One of the aims of the mission was to contribute to future long-term space missions. So guys, as we know that this was not PSLV's third stage, it was the fourth stage. Hence, second is definitely incorrect. So we already are at the answer, which is B, 3 and 4. And also the first statement is incorrect. They used cowpea seeds and not tomatoes. Okay. Next is India's push for a homegrown large language model under the Indian AI mission. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what's a large language model. आपने देखा होगा जो ChatGPT, that is like currently very popular. This ChatGPT is basically working on a large language model, which is like a big data altogether. जिसके ऊपर ये पूरा का पूरा जो this is basically RAG. Okay, this tool or transform or whatever you call it, ये इस language के ऊपर train हुआ है, which is basically a data repository altogether. Now India is looking to create a India homegrown large language model. मतलब कि एक ऐसा data repository जिसके अंदर India के related, which is starting historical to constitutional to political anything, or not only that but also divided into different languages and the different dialects that India has, वो सब कुछ इस लैंग्वेज मॉडल के अंदर स्टोर्ड हो. एंड देन देयर इज एन एजेंट जिसके अंदर हम कोई भी अगर क्वेश्चन टाइप करें रिलेटेड टू इंडिया, it will easily be able to answer that back to us. That obviously will be very amazing. So India is working towards that for a homegrown large language model. So with the growing global dominance of generative tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, India is embarking on a strategic journey to develop its own large language model, again under that Atmanirbhar thing. So focus on Indic languages to bridge the digital divide, very important. Different languages and dialects can also be included in it. It's again taking help from different academy of IITs, IIMs, and METI, which is the ministry that the government of India has. And global context में China is something called as China's Wudao, Europe has Bloom, Meta's Llama, which is Facebook's Llama. So yeah, that's what the news is all about. Let's have a look at a question. With reference to India's plans for developing a sovereign LLM, consider the following statements. The project is being undertaken under the framework of Indian AI mission. The LLM will be trained on multilingual Indian datasets, including regional languages. The initiative aims to make India self-sufficient in semiconductor manufacturing. One of the goals is to support public service delivery through AI-based solutions. So The options are here. Please comment your answer in the comment box. So the correct answer, of course, is 1, 2, and 4, not the third one, which is it's nothing to do with the semiconductors. Okay. Next question. Union government reconstitutes the Atomic Energy Commission, which is the AEC. Now, the government has recently reconstituted, मतलब दोबारा बनाया गया इसको, किसको? The Atomic Energy Commission. What does it do? This is the apex organization for India's nuclear energy program. So nuclear energy, you know, there are two types of nuclear ways that we produce energy, which is nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. ठीक है? तो इनको control करने के लिए there is a centralized agency that is called AEC, which has been reconstituted. Now, India's atomic energy program has been a cornerstone of its strategic autonomy, scientific advancement, and clean energy roadmap, with the global shift towards non-net zero emissions. Of course, जब हम fossil fuel को consume करके जब अपनी energy produce करते हैं, that's obviously releasing carbon. तो उसको खत्म करने के लिए going towards zero carbon